Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My subject today is effects of money, which rhymes very well with money, my favorite commodity, on stainless steel scrap prices. To give you a little bit information about my company, Nymet Metals is headquartered in this very building which you see the picture. We have offices in India, China, Middle East, and Thailand, and our products mainly are nickel and stainless raw material. These days, we do a lot more of stainless steel scrap than in the past, probably because of various reasons, which I will come to that. As I said, moly nickel rhymes very well with my favorite commodity, money. I'm going to talk about a little bit of, I'm not going to talk about it actually, I'm going to show you a video about the current economic turmoil in Europe, again all about money. Moly and nickel prices, how they affect stainless steel prices, again all about money. Euro versus dollar, the yo-yo, what we have been watching and seeing for the last few years, again all about money, and the volatile markets. Fundamentals are fund-driven, again all about money. So I'm going to show you this video, the current economic turmoil in Europe. It's a video which is not made by me. It was a video, it's available on internet. It's about two anchors in Australia who do a mock interviews of each other, and they have projected what I call is, in the correct way, the real economic crisis. Please enjoy this video because this is something really funny, and it.
Your name
really
is Roger, yes?
Roger.
Ah, that's your name.
Roger.
Good. And what do you do, Roger?
I'm a financial consultant.
Ah, financial consultant, eh?
Roger,
yeah,
yes.
Terrific. And Roger, how's business at the moment?
Not bad, thank you. Been a bit quiet lately.
How do you mean lately?
Since the war, been a bit quiet.
Fair enough. Okay, Roger, your special subject tonight is the economies of the European community. Your time starts now. Best of luck.
Thank you.
How much does Greece owe, Roger?
$367 billion.
Correct. And who do they owe it to?
Mostly to the other European economies.
Correct. How much does Ireland owe?
$865 billion.
Correct. And who do they owe it to?
Other European economies, mostly.
Correct. How much do Spain and Italy owe?
$1 trillion each.
Correct. Who to?
Mainly France, Britain and Germany.
Correct. And how are Germany, France and Britain going, Roger?
Well, they're struggling a bit, aren't they?
Correct. Why?
Because they've lent all these vast amounts of money to other European economies that can't possibly pay them back.
Correct. So what are they going to do?
They're going to have to bail them out.
Correct. Where are they getting the money to do that, Roger?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one.
How much does Portugal owe?
Hang on a minute. What was the answer to that earlier question?
Just keep answering the questions, Roger. Where is Portugal going to get the money it owes to Germany if Germany can't get back the money that it lent to Italy?
Just a minute. What was the answer to the previous question? The question was, how can broke economies lend money to other broke economies who haven't got any money because they can't pay back the money the broke economy lent to the other broke economy and shouldn't have lent it to them in the first place because the broke economy can't pay it back?
You're wasting very valuable time, Roger. How much money does Spain owe to Italy?
$41 billion, but where are they going to get it?
Correct. What does Italy owe to Spain?
$27 billion, but they haven't got it. They're broke.
Correct. How can they pay each other if neither of them has any money?
They're going to get a bailout, aren't they?
Correct. And where's the money coming from for the bailout?
That's what I'm asking you.
Correct. Why are people selling the European currency and buying the US dollar?
Because the US economy is so much stronger than the European economy.
Correct. Why is that, Roger?
Because it's owned by China.
Correct. And very well done. And after that round, you've lost $1 million.
I've lost $1 million. I thought you said well done.
Yes, well done. You've only lost $1 million. That's an extraordinary performance, Roger.
I've only lost $1 million.
Very well done.
And that's quite good, is it?
Oh, it's excellent.
Sell everything immediately. Quickly.
Well, that was a funny way of putting what really the situation is in Europe. I don't know if it is true or false, how it works, but this video by John Clark and Doe has been in existence since 2009. So they have been talking about this since then. Euro and dollar yo-yo, as I call it. As you see, since 2010, to now, the dollar-euro is just going around like a yo-yo. And that is really affecting business with Europe as far as North Americans are concerned, or any other Asian countries who are trading in dollars. The effects are sometimes makes the business, and most of the times it doesn't make the business, which is why it really affects our stainless steel scrap business. And at times, we end up buying much more material than what is normally available when euro is weak. I am going to touch base with a little bit of recycling institutions who are, for the benefit of some of my friends here who may not be aware of it. Two major institutions, Institute of Scrap Recycling Industry and Bureau International Recuperation. These are the two leading associations, what I would call, in the scrap trading business. ISRI and BIR was formed in 1948, and ISRI was the result of 1987 merger of Institute of Scrap, Iron and Steel and National Association of Recycling Industry. U.S. scrap industry processes almost 150 million tons annually and directly employs about 138,000 people. The European scrap industry processes almost 400 million tons and assumedly employs about 350,000 people directly. Scrap recycling, therefore, is a very integral part to the global economy, environment, and is needed for sustainable development. The ISRI and BIR mission statements are to promote international trade in a very environmentally safe manner, consuming low energy and reducing carbon dioxide emissions. Of course, preserving the planet's natural resources, and both of them serve as a platform to promote recycling with the industry and to liaise with the policymakers. The U.S. scrap exports, this is published in the ISRI Handbook of 2012. Stainless steel and nickel alloys were exported almost 1.6 million tons out of the United States in 2011 and 1.9 million tons in 2010. In 2012, I don't have the figures, but my assumption is it's almost the same. But in 2013, if I have to guess, I think the scrap exports would be less on the nickel and stainless alloys. So what is stainless steel scrap? What is recycling of recycling? As you would see, oops, sorry, I went inside that. Okay. This is the mill. It sells the material to master distributors, to distributors or their OEMs. The material processed by master distributors or distributors go back to service center, to consumers, to the scrap yards, to processors, and back again to the mill. In simple words, that is recycling of stainless scrap. So what is the difference between a scrap yard and a scrap processor? Marcus had touched on the word blends, and I'm going to expand a little bit on that. A scrap yard normally would buy scrap, process it, shear it, sort it, cut it, and probably bale it. Whereas a scrap processor, they buy scrap from a scrap yard and others, and they use their skills and technology. They not only buy scrap, they also buy primary nickel, they buy secondary nickel, they would buy primary chrome, they would add chrome fines, they would add all kinds of different materials to what we call a blend. Blends are basically made by the containers, and each container would be a part of a large lot of 1,000 tons, 2,000 tons, and would typically run same chemistry, keeping the tramp elements within control. Mills pay to the processors for the output and not the input in terms of nickel, chrome, and iron. As you said, in North America and Europe, most of them use blend. Even in India, these days, for your information, a lot of mills, 2 of them specifically, they use blends. Most processors would get away with putting most of the things, and they get paid what comes out of the pot. But some mills are really fussy. They would not let turnings come inside. They don't want some powdery dust, etc. So otherwise, in any case, they pay what comes out of the pot. These are the major European scrap consumers. As I have assumed some numbers on 2013, and 2012 I had collected some figures, but the 2010 and 11 data is more or less accurate. 2012 maybe plus minus 5%. As you would see, about 2.56 million tons was consumed in Europe in 2010. In 2011, it is 2.5 million, and the same is in 2012. But in 2013, the assumptions are based on, the 2013, we expect the scrap consumption in Europe would grow. In the United States, similar is the story, but that is only after adding the TKS plant, and if it goes to produce 350,000, consume 350,000 tons of scrap. My assumption on the scrap utilization ratio, which is a big factor, is somewhere close to 65% plus, whereas you had indicated about 35 to 40% currently, and growing to 60-65% by 2020.
But that's the moly scrap.
Oh, there was moly base. I'm sorry, then I missed it.
55 to 60.
55 to 60. So I'm more or less accurate, matching with yours. These are the major Indian scrap consumers. Jindal, of course, is the largest, and by 2013, we expect them to consume almost 500,000 tons of 300 series of scrap. Viraj Group is another one, which is expected to hit about 240,000 tons. The rest of the three are relatively small. BRG has a huge capacity, but they are not producing stainless steel scrap at the moment. There is Steel Authority of India, which is a Salem steel plant, but they do not consume any scrap. They are totally going by the primary route. Why is stainless steel scrap so important? Higher is the cost of production using 100% of primary feed, which is affecting Steel Authority in case of India. Production cost using 70% scrap utilization ratio is 10% less than a primary feed. Nickel, of course, plays a major role because it's 67% of its cost in the stainless steel. Nickel price makes a substantial difference, therefore, on stainless steel scrap, and volatility of nickel prices is much higher than that in stainless steel scrap. Effects of money. In order to understand that, let's understand first, how is stainless steel price calculated? The typical chemistry of 304 and 316 is 8 nickel, chrome 17, and balance iron. And in 316 scrap, it is 2% moly with 10% nickel. Most of these mills, they buy on percentage of nickel LME, which Marcus and I have a little debate on. He's saying that it is closer to 85%. Yes, it is correct. That is the case in case of Europe and in case of US. But in India, they are paying close to 90%. And that is a fact. The chrome percentage, yes, you are correct, with the 85% on the benchmark prices. Iron prices are normally fixed based on a metal bulletin averages. And moly oxide is based on, again, on a client and a supplier, which pricing mechanism they want to use. Either they fix it, or they go on an average of Metals Week or Ryan's Notes or Metal Bulletin, but not LME. And then on top of this is the yield factor. Most mills, they talk about 95% yield. Some mills would agree to 97%. It all depends on a direct negotiation basis. These are the moly oxide prices for since January 2012. And what I am trying to show here is just a comparison of Metals Week, the LME, the Ryan's Notes, and the Metal Bulletin. While the other three are more or less constant, plus minus a few 1 or 2%, the LME prices, because of lack of volatility, is what you see is the difference. The yellow line And other than that, there is basically moly oxide prices have been sliding downwards, and hopefully it has touched the bottom. This similar scenario is with nickel. Starting from 2007, you can see that it hit the $52,000, $53,000 mark to the bottom in December 2008 of $9,600 a change, and now back to close to $17,000. The volatility of this product really affects the stainless steel prices, scrap prices. The moly prices are more or less stagnant in terms of percentage. It really ranges between 75 to 80% range of the metals week or Ryan's note or whatever they take. This is the 304 scrap prices in percentage of nickel. And Marcus, this is very interesting for you because there have been times, I only compared United States and Europe in this case. And if you would notice, this is the scrap prices, the blue line is scrap prices in US, and the red line is in Europe. But in terms, and keeping the chrome and the iron fluctuating based on the benchmark prices and the metal bulletin FOB Rotterdam prices of HMS 8020. So if I play with that chrome and chrome and iron, and then just the nickel percentages, as you would notice, at times have exceeded 90% plus. In January 2013, this is just about 2 months ago, US was paying close to 95% or more on the nickel content. 95% plus in reality. Different regions, different prices. Northern Europe, Southern Europe, US, India, and I've compared it with the LME of nickel. The markets have always been fluctuating. US has been good at times. Europe has been better at times. Northern Europe and Southern Europe also there is a price differential. And sometimes India is far better. For me, again, we have to go back to euro and US dollar exchange rates, which makes the difference if we sell into Europe or we are buying out of Europe. US has been constant only depending on the mill's requirements. And when they come into the market, their scrap prices go way up. These are the effects of moly pricing, 316 scrap pricing. Again, there's not much of a significant fluctuations because of moly on the 316 scrap prices. The relativity is far more on the nickel values. Now, these figures I got it from the International Nickel Study Group. The Chinese imports of stainless steel scrap. Interesting to note, if you'll see, from 2005 onwards up to 2009, the imports of stainless steel scrap was growing. It had gone up and up. Since 2010, it has gone down. And the reason, as Marcus and I will point it out, same, the NPI production has gone way far high up. And again, the same graph in a different plot with the monthly. So if you will notice that the NPI production is going up. As I was reading yesterday, one of the magazines, I think it was CRU or one of the articles from Marcus, NPI production is hitting about close to 340,000 tons in 2012, and it's going to go beyond in 2013. So to conclude, while nickel and moly will continue to play a role on SS scrap prices, market conditions would dictate more. Nickel and all other base metals have lost the fundamentals because the funds play a much bigger role. And SS scrap consumption to grow in US and reduce in Europe. Tightness of scrap in North America is inevitable if TKS plant goes in full stream. SS scrap prices to go up in percentage of nickel in US for sure. The China factor, which is the nickel prices, will dictate the NPI production, or vice versa, and NPI production will dictate the Chinese scrap imports. World recession, is it a maybe? I don't know. But today, a taxi driver was telling me that we don't have a He was an Italian guy, by the way. He said that we don't have a government, we don't have a pope, and it's snowing in Rome. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Anil.